everyone, and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I'm circling this gift box here in Ponytown because I have 6 more things that I wish would, be added to Ponytown and everything like that. And the first one on the list has to do with the gift pile, the little toy stash, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be a Ponytown wish list. I think we're at like wish list number 8 or 9, maybe even 10. I don't know how many of these I've done, but I've done a lot of these. So if you like this video and if you like the wish list stuff like that, be sure to subscribe because I do that every once in a while. And some of these things have actually been eventually added to the game. So let's dive into my list here today. Better plushies. Right now, the plushies for this game are pretty basic. All you have is, they're all earth ponies first off, and all you can do to customize them is change the hair and change the body and the eyes, and that's pretty much all you can do to it. There's no Pegasus plushie, there's no unicorn plushie or anything like that. I think those two things alone should be just added by default, and then maybe you can like change the color of the horn and change the color of the wings in addition to that. But I also think there should be a little bit more customization and stuff like that that you can do to the actual plushies themselves. Maybe actually give them certain facial expressions and stuff like that. Different ideas and stuff like that just come to mind where, you have, maybe you can give them a hoodie or something like that. Maybe you can give them a horn, like I said, maybe an earring or something like that. Just basically give us very basic customization for them, like still keep it basic obviously because it's still a plushie, but I would like to see more customization for the plushies and everything like that for the game because it's kind of basic. And right now the plushie that I'm using right now is supposed to be of Birthmark, and Birthmark is a unicorn, and I can't show that off properly because for some reason you can't include unicorn horns for your plushie. And I think that's kind of the main thing for this is like how come we can't change it to be the 3 races or anything else, like maybe even have like griffin based ones as well. Like there's so many different kinds of like versions of these plushies that they can improve on, but they haven't really done anything with the plushies since like they were introduced. So hopefully we can get that at some point. And yeah, let's move on to the second thing. So the second thing here is these tables here. Lining up these tables were a huge headache here and everything like that, and the whole headache could have been prevented with one single tool. Now I think this tool could be something similar to either like the hammer or I guess the crowbar, or more specifically the wand. I think either the wand should have a new feature or we should get a new tool. I'm looking at the rake when I say that, where we can select multiple items at the same time, multiple pieces of furniture at the same time, and then clone them or delete them or do whatever we want. It's sort of a multi-select tool. Maybe every tool just has that by default where like, oh no, I have a crowbar, and if I hold the right button down, like control or shift or something like that, I can select like multiple objects or something like that. Like maybe imagine like a little, I don't know how to describe it, but sort of like you just select multiple objects and you just select multiple objects. This could even go over to the shovel as well, where if you have like a specific pattern like this over here, where this checkerboard's here, it was a pain to actually make this entire checkerboard and then remake it again a second time over here. It would have been very nice if I could have just, like controlled this or something like that, just like did like this and then that copied it or whatever, and then I pasted over here instead or something. That would have been great, but unfortunately that's not a thing. I think it could be a thing, where they just have it to where there's some kind of way to, do that sort of thing. Maybe we use the rake tool. I know there's a rake inside the game files because it's in the event server, and it's a weird thing that you can spawn in the event server if you're like a mod for your event or whatever in that server. There is a tool that still exists in the game. There's also, of course, the pickaxe, which still doesn't have a function either. So these are 2 ideas for you to just include that into the toolbox, and then just have us be able to do that sort of thing. I just want something that allows us to select multiple things, whether it be floor tiles, furniture, whatever. I would prefer both. Even walls. So if you have a special pattern of your walls or whatever, maybe you can multi-select walls or something. So I think there's like just many different ways to include that and integrate it and whatever. And I think it's something that would definitely improve the game. It would make the building process a lot easier and more fun and interesting to play around with, especially if like for example, I put all these tables here. If I want to delete this one day, I have to equip the brush and go one by one, which is going to take me a good moment to go through all of them. Instead, I could just multi-select all of them, or just like do like a weird scroll thing, sort of like how the shovel works. Like I just select that whole area and then I let go, and then it just deletes that whole area or whatever. So there's multiple ways to go about doing that, and I think it should definitely be added in some way, at least at some point, because it's such a good useful feature that I think will really improve the game. And I've gone enough over that. So let's move on to the next thing. And the next thing is also a little bit weird, but it has to do with the shovel. It has to do with the shovel. Now this one's very, very weird, and I don't know how much it would actually help, but I think it would definitely improve a lot of like the creativity and stuff like that you can do in the game. Imagine a world where we still have all the same, floor tiles and everything like that, but imagine where we can split those tiles in half. So I have myself some black carpet here, or this dark tile here, or even this grass here, or wood, whatever you want, and you just place it down, and maybe there's like a certain button where when you hold it down, you can right click once you do it, or middle click or something like that, and instead of being a full thing, it will be split in half. I don't know if it should be split vertically or horizontally. Maybe that's just, you get both. Maybe it's limited to, oh, it can only be vertical, or oh, it can only be horizontal. I don't know, but I think something like half floor tiles would be very useful for so many different reasons. For one, you can kind of combine certain tiles in a lot more interesting way. It improves the pixel art potential for the game. So if I want to make line here or whatever, and then just kind of stripe it out with rainbows or something like that, then I can do that, and it would look a little bit better, and it would save a lot of space. So if I wanted a rainbow thing over there or whatever, then I could do that. I don't know if this is something that they can ever incorporate because of the way the game is set up. I don't know if there's some way to do it, but if there is, I would love to see that added to the game at some point, because I think it would improve a lot of builds and everything like that. It's still a very niche thing, I will admit, but I think it will help a lot of players that like to specifically customize their island and their homes and stuff. So the next thing on my list here has to do with the settings. So if you go to settings, and right at the top you see this AFK timeout thing on here. Mine is set to 15 minutes. It would be wonderful if we could get something like a warning from the last like 10 seconds or 30 seconds of the game, where once that 15 minutes is up, or once the 15 minutes is almost up, like 30 seconds before it's up, you get this message that appears that says, hey, you're about to get sent back to the main menu or whatever. It would be nice to kind of have that on there. If some people like to pretend to go AFK, they have these statues and everything like that. So I have a skeleton statue, so if I wanted to pretend to be a statue for a while, you technically have to be sort of AFK to do that. You can technically type out messages, you can type out like slash whatever, and that will reset your AFK timeout and everything like that. But I think it would be nice to have some kind of prompt that comes up 30 seconds before you're about to time out, and then that gives the player a chance to be like, oh no, I'm not actually AFK, and they can just kind of move their character a little bit, or even just type in a message like or whatever like that, or even just a message that says, hey, are you still playing, and it gives you a yes or no, and then you just click yes if you're still playing, and then it resets the timer or whatever. So I think that's something that will help a lot of people that like to pretend to be statues and everything like that. Okay, next up on this list here at number 5 is changing the previewer background thingy. So if I go to edit or whatever, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So if you if you go to the body and everything like that, if you click this right here, it allows you to change the color of the background. So I can make that red if I want to, I can make that white, I can make it like a maroon, I can make it blue, a teal, whatever I want. It doesn't matter, I can change the color of it, but I cannot change the actual background itself. It's always that one flat color. It would be nice if we had a little bit more customization with this, where we can import our own photos and images and stuff like that to include for this background thing here, or even for when we're in the home screen, maybe we can include a special background ourselves to put back here and all this gray area here, because right now it's kind of bland, and hopefully one day that will change. But right now I think it would be nice to just include like a way to import images and stuff like that and use for this background. It's sort of like a desktop background, essentially is what I'm asking for, but it would be really nice to have that, and especially if it was separated from this color thing here. So you have a separate image that you can put here, and then a separate image you can put here, or you can just adjust the color of both this gray background here or this color here. It would be nice to have that, because it just would I'm gonna be honest, that wouldn't actually improve the previewer in any sort of way. It doesn't necessarily improve the game in any way. It just kind of makes things look better, and it kind of makes things look a little bit more unique. So like when someone sees you play Ponytown from a distance or whatever, like oh, that looks cool because you have a cool background or whatever. It doesn't really necessarily improve improve the game or do much for the game or whatever, but I think it definitely would, make people a little bit happier when they come here instead of just seeing like a giant gray blob and everything like that. Yeah, that's all I have here for you guys today. So I do hope that you enjoyed, and if you did, please do like, subscribe, and share, and do all of those wonderful things, because when you do those wonderful things, you get access to wonderful content such as this. But that's not all you get. You also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.